But we will see what happens now as we go live with Step 3 of Trackmania Grand League. I'm your caster virtual, joined today by Eirik Holdal, Trackmania news expert and journalist. Has done a lot of coverage with these players, several hundred interviews at the pro level, and Carlberg, who will be joining today as the play-by-play caster. Ladies and gentlemen, get some hype in the chat as we go on to Barrelistic, the very first map in the map pack here. And Carlberg, what do you think going into Barrelistic here? Who are you looking out for out of the field?
Oh, I mean, since Muda has not been seen in the top 3 the 2 previous steps, and he has the world record, he's definitely a guy to look out for, right? We've also seen Granady being catching a second place in the step 1 and the first place in step 2. Is he gonna get a top 3 in this third step as well? He has a time of 6:42.66, 2 seconds behind Muda on the leaderboard in the time attack training phase.
There we go. All right, and yeah, Muda definitely one to look out for. Granadi as well, certainly a candidate. But Eirik, isn't it interesting with these players that these are essentially the rookies of the league, like Muda and Granadi, that we're now looking at as the clear favorites here in the first map?
Yeah, I mean, we can have an overall debate about why that is. Is it because Carl Jr. and the old players are less motivated for this season, or is it simply because now the skills are catching up to them? But I want to be bold and have a prediction here. I'm going to say that Pack is going to get over 400 points, and it's going to start off with a map win and a fastest lap. That
is certainly a bold prediction. 400 plus points for Pack. Might be looking for a huge step. You know, Pack, he has had this thing where he starts off the season slow and then he gets very motivated to prove everyone else wrong and say, you know what, I am better than you think I am, and I'm going to show it right here, right now. So Pack, the prediction for Eirik. Carlberg, do you have a prediction you want to throw out here before we get too into things? Who you think might be the step winner?
I mean, on paper, Muda is looking good, right? He has the world record, hasn't been seen in the top 3 in any of the steps. So I'm gonna, at least on this map, I'm gonna say that he is looking good. Overall, I gotta root for Massa, actually. Ooh. Massa, with the internet problems in the previous week, he wanted to go for a high multiplier, right?
He did.
Didn't quite get it, so I'm gonna say a high points for Massa here.
I'm gonna throw out my prediction. I'm gonna say Gwen, the young French player who has shown in the past he's been very good. He got very close to Carl Jr. in the fall season last year. Doesn't have the strongest start to the league this year, but maybe today will be his day. Anyways, on to Barrelistic here. We have had a couple of mistakes. Eirik Holdal's prediction with Pack is looking a bit grim as Pack is down in 14th here right off the gate with a small mistake together with Bren and Tween. Papu also looks to have made a mistake.
Scrappy has a mistake as well, has to respawn on the plastic bounce. Bren goes for a huge bounce there, actually gonna respawn as well twice, which is, maybe a thrice even. No, it's not looking good for Bren. He's gonna fall behind by 11 seconds here in the first lap.
But apart from that here, it's a very close race, and it might be really difficult to get a grasp of just how difficult this is to drive, because you kind of just see the cars magically work their way through each part, but the players have to consciously think about each move they make here, each line they take, and especially when it comes to these tricks they're doing, the wall ride flips being the theme on this map, they cannot be off by a lot. Their precision has to be on point the entire way. So you'll see it here in this next section. When they flip into the wall right here, every single small detail matters, and you want to try to get the most speed you can. Very close battle here between the top 11 players after the first 2 laps are complete. But Granadi in first, still holding that. Carl Jr. with a new best lap.
Yeah, this map is definitely not forgiving at all, as we can see on the times right now. We have a 4-second difference between Pack and Gwen, and quite a big gap between Scrappy and Bren as well. Although Massa is leading this one by the looks of it right now, followed by Carl Jr. Really exciting race so far.
Yeah, it's incredibly
The
close
top.
here. But as we mentioned, Mura meant to look out for. He did not have the strongest opener here, being almost a second down, but he still managed to keep that gap. He's not lost any further time to the players up front. As we now see them go across this jump. This jump, very interesting part of the map. There's many lines that are possible, but a lot of players, after thorough practice and examination, have decided that this is the one they're sticking with. The low jump line, and Mudda excels past the field with Carl Jr. and Massa dropping down. It's Mudda up into second, but did Massa survive there? No, a big respawn, and Massa will drop out of the top 8.
We have a mistake from Massa as well as Papu, who dropped a couple of spots right there in the flip just before the end.
And Pack here, looking at the differences. Despite his early mistake, he has not lost any further time. The gap was 3 seconds. It's still 3 seconds. And Pack, he did win this map in the first step. He got into the top 3 on the second step. So Pack here, it is one of his better maps, and might actually be on for that 400-point scoreline after all. He's about to overtake RL here into 6th place.
And as we see in the top, we have Granady versus Muda here. Only 0.4 seconds difference, and these are the guys that also have good times on the leaderboard on the time of attack phase, which might correlate.
Yeah,
as we
definitely.
enter the 5th lap here. Granady slows down. Looks like Muda is gonna catch up here. It's neck and neck though. Really hard to tell.
Now we're entering into the part where we start to see some nerves. The last 2 laps, both Grenadi and Mudda have been in this situation before. Mudda in step 1, he failed the last wall ride flip in lap 6, and that cost him a lot of spots. He was on for a top 3 performance. Now, with more speed in the full speed part, might just try to overtake first from Grenadi here. He is closing in the gap. Has not been first this entire race, but now finds himself only a car length away from that position as they go across the ice jump. Is this where Mudda will make his move to try to take the top spot here? Lands earlier on the ice, tries to build for more speed on the dirt. Will not be getting any closer here, and Grenadi is actually driving very strong up front. He holds that gap, and if he can land this flip, then going into the last lap, it will be Grenadi still with the lead here, and they are 2 seconds ahead of anyone else in the race right now.
Super close race in the top as we enter the last lap of Ballistic. We have Grenady in the lead. 0.4 difference. Is Muda gonna catch up? Looks like Grenady is actually getting a little bit of a better lead here. 0.6 now almost. Carl Jr. with a 1.72 behind.
And it looks like, as you said, Grenadi is extending here. Mudda is losing ground and might just have to settle for the 2nd place, because this is a gap that you cannot regain without Grenadi making a mistake. So I don't think Mudda will fancy pushing any extra here, and will rather just slow down and take it safe and not make any mistakes in that final wall ride like has happened in the past. But there's a huge battle here for the top 4 and 5 spot. Let's just see if Grenadi can hold this before we take a look back. Grenadi gets the last flip, will win ahead of Mudda in 2nd. Carl Jr. gets 3rd. Who's gonna get that 4th place? It will be Pack, I think.
Looks like it's Pack, yeah.
And Worker has dropped down with a huge respawn. Or not a respawn, just a 2-second mistake, but he loses down to 6th. Arel gets 7th, and Massa claims that 8th place spot. They all get huge points up there.
Oh, but Alfie makes a mistake, has to respawn. Binks is actually gonna take 10th place here.
Oh, Alfie with very low speed here. Yeah, this is gonna be slow roll into the finish.
Losing
no.
about 5, 6, 7 positions in the last
that's
identity
painful.
section. That is really painful.
But again, if you want to look at it on the bright side, he only lost a couple of points there. The top 8 spots matter so much, and after that, it's only a matter of a couple of points, since 9th place gets 5 points only. But not the start of the step he was looking for. Perhaps he can flip it as we go to the 2nd map here, Karlberg, on the edge. What can you tell us about this one?
on the edge by Popoeta. A really technical map with an identity where precision matters the most. This is really a map where you want to look at people like Massa, Carl Jr., Papu, like all of these classic tech players. This is where they really shine.
Yeah, a lot of these players.
And we see the identity here. 3 circles we wanna go around really tight. It's harder than it looks by far. And as I said in the Challenger series, Massa has a bit of an interesting strategy here. By the looks of his goals in the training phase.
Okay.
Going for the left side in the start.
Let's have a look at Massa. But as you said, a lot of the players that we're looking for here are sort of the traditional tech players. And a lot of these players have a huge background and history in the game. So, Ida, could you perhaps tell us like just why players like Massa, Carl Jr. are so good at this exact style?
Well, it was the main competitive style until 2018 when we had a crazy grand final. And until that, it's simply just muscle memory building up over time. So these players might not train as much tech as it did, but sort of the core foundation is there, the skills are there. It doesn't take too much time for them to sort of learn these slides again. So I'm not surprised if, let's say, Carl Jr. once again wins this, or maybe even Kappa or Tween shows up, because a guy like Tween, well, he needs to step up, because if Tween has a bad step here, it's going to be the worst start to a Trackmania Grand League history. So I hope to see maybe Tween here, but that is a bold prediction once again, and my bold prediction didn't go as well last time around. It only took 40 seconds before the caster curse came into play, so let's see.
Indeed, yeah. Looking out for Tween here. He has had some good showings here, but as you said, this map is heavily tech-based. Carl Jr. from Canada, the 3-time world champion on tech. You also have players like Massa and Spam and Pack that have been around in the tech scene for years and years. You can add in Kappa there, you can add in Tween there. A lot of these players have their foundation in that style, and that is why we can expect to see an absolute firework of a match here on the edge, as this will be decided purely by pace, and there will be very few respawns that happen due to flips and stuff. The only time we'll see mistakes is if players push too much here. If they go a little bit too close to the hole here, but they're staying just on the right side of it. Massa, the current world record holder, with a...
We have a little bit of a touch
spammed up and down.
Muda there.
And Muda as
holding
well.
Some positions. It's not the biggest mistakes that we've seen, but still a 1.2 gap, which is quite a lot on this map. As you said, it's a fully raw pace map. As we enter the identity here.
Very precise.
Oh, and we have a mistake there.
Make that 2 actually. There were 2 big mistakes. Pack and Gwen dropping down. Spam as well.
Spam also has a respawn.
And Carl Jr., he is in the field. I thought he dropped down for a second, but no. He is still in the mix. Want to quickly just mention Massa here, the world record holder. 658, as you said, with some interesting lines. So, one of the contenders to win this one. He won last week on this map with a 7:01:15. That time less than a second ahead of Carl Jr. and Papu in the top 3. So it's going to be a close fight all the way. Right now it's Brendan Binks off to the best start, but this could quickly change, as you see in that identity. Even the best can falter if they just push a little bit too much, but beautiful line there by Massa in the reactor boost drift. Gets 2 more positions, and suddenly he's all the way up to 3rd now before the 2nd time we get into the Carlberg.
Truly a Massa map here. We see Brennan first, a little bit of speed here. Let's see what happens. Oh, Massa catches up 2 or 3 car lengths there. Actually goes for the jump, not as he did in the practice round. We have a mistake from Tween by the looks of it. It's gonna fall down to 14th. Yeah. But Massa, that identity, he's extending his lead by 0.15.
And he was 0.4 going into that lap behind the first place, so effectively he gained half a second on everyone there. And that is how much you can gain if you risk, even against the world elite. Bren with an awkward line there has to save it. will drop a little bit of time against the others, but...
Ooh, Carl Jr. has touched the wall. He's gonna drop down a couple of positions.
That puts him into the red now. So Carl Jr. really has to make up a little bit of time here if he wants to get those 15 points for 8th. Because you basically had nothing if you're down there, but that's a close fight. Let's follow his perspective into the identity now. It is still Massa in the lead. As we see a car with very low speed, that's Binks. He has made a mistake. The others are cleanly through into the next lap. Halfway through the race, we have just 10 players that have managed to keep it mistake-free just about in the identity. And a lot of them have no points overall in the scoreboard so far. Bren, Papu, Scrappy, Alfie, all with a slow first map, but now they're making a comeback here.
Massa in the lead, extending even more. He's 0.4 ahead by Bren right now. He's to be expected on this map, as said, with a world record of 6:58.89. He is absolutely full risking it right here.
Have to say a very positive surprise here is Scrappy. Scrappy's a player that we've seen mostly just this season in the 2-lap format. We know Scrappy is great at 2 laps. He has won 2 multipliers so far in the first 2 steps, even getting the 5-time multiplier last weekend. But we have not seen him show up on the 6-lappers. Now he's up there in 5th place for one of the first times. And Massa, low speed, Massa's made a mistake. The world record holder, the previous winner here, drops down about a second to the others. Might have to take the dirt line here to recover. And Massa might just not win this one. With that one mistake, it's now Papu, Bren, and Grenadi in the top 3.
Bren in the lead here. Actually, it's neck and neck between Bren and Papu. 2 really fast tech players. Papu with the 3rd world record of a 7:00.36. He's gonna extend that lead by a little bit through all of these drifting corners. As we enter the reactor uphill. A super tight dirt turn here. We lose a bit of gears. Has to take this transition down smoothly as we enter the identity. 5th lap here.
And what a huge start this would be for Grenadi. 25 points on the first map. He's 3rd in the league overall in his rookie season. And if he gets top 3 here, he could be on for 40 plus points in just the first 2 maps here. Really showing up consistent. A lot of doubts coming into the season, Idek, for how Grenadi would perform as he got the spot. But now we're really seeing him shine, aren't we?
Yeah, I mean, there was a lot of controversy about how Grenady got the slot, but I mean, if Grenady wins this map alone, he is the German with the most amount of maps win in a season overall. The record is 2 map wins from Massa. Grenady already had 2 map wins, so Grenady is really suitable for this format. He said one thing to me before this map, or match rather: I'm gonna play safe, and then I'm hope for a multiplier. He's not playing safe, he's top 1, he's top 3.
Yeah, he's risking it here, and going into the end, he might even get a double top 1 here. Chasing Papu and Bren for this final lap. One more time across the identity. Bren and Papu side by side, but Grenadi has more speed, and he's going to close his gap down to just 1 car length before the last 3 drifts here. Bren's still in the lead. Who's going to get the most speed here? Grenadi is closing in the gap, but Bren still has the lead. Will he hold it all the way across? Oh, he will.
It's super close, top 3, but
just barely for Bren.
But Papu actually dropping down. Scrappy takes the 3rd place there.
Papu lost a little bit in the end there. And Scrappy, huge performance from him. Yeah, as you said, top 3. Massa gets the 4th place. Can't be too upset about that. Papu, Pack, Uffy, and Carl Jr. Some of the best performing players in the league so far overall get a lot of points here and are looking to extend their gap to the others. Gwen here, he did win this map in the first step of Grand League. Not the performance he was looking for, but maybe he could flip it. As we're going on to a map where he is one of the fastest players on paper, we are going on to Pole Party by Histo. What can you tell us about this card, Blake?
By Histo. Oh no! it is not pole party. First, it's actually the.
Oh, you are correct. Debated. It is actually the clash time.
Where
of course.
Chat is gonna play. I got debated, chat.
I also got debated. To be honest, we have clash time.
Clash time.
So this is just a fun intermission where you guys can play Trackmania. Twitch chat plays Trackmania effectively. You can see the commands you can type here. Plus to accelerate, minus to brake, left and right, and RS. The mods can type in chat to respawn the car if we need that. And Carlberg, I'd say you are our team leader here. So rally the troops and try to get us a win here by any means that you can.
Alright, chat. Listen up. Last week, what position did we get?
I think we got top 5, top 6.
Top 5, top 6. But we lost to the PFers, alright?
We did.
We lost to the PFers. This map, though, looks like it's absolutely impossible for the PFers, as we have like a really tight section in the end. Sort of like an identity here. We
need to go
crashing
sharply
We're
left.
tween, right?
Yeah, we're tween. We need to go sharply left.
Right.
A lot of left here, or we will make contact with the wall here. Big
That's
left
good. We're
turn.
beating. Oh, passing Granady right here. Looking good.
Now line it up. Don't go in the
Stay
gap.
right.
Oh.
A little bit right, chat. That's not good. Ooh, maybe savable. Actually, just right, PF, and maybe reverse, actually. Yeah,
Oh,
that's
good
good,
save,
that's
good save, chat.
That's good, just PF. PF, it will save it. There it is.
Press forward,
PF.
for those who don't know.
Oh, we're last. Wait, we're not last. Well,
Only
okay.
3 players have gotten this checkpoint. We are actually pretty good here. In 4th, I
we're
think.
doing pretty good.
No, we are 6th. Alright, not too bad. Not too bad.
As we enter the dirt section, might want to turn left here so we don't fall off. Ooh, that's pretty good. Touching the wall a little bit. That's fine. Alright, we're doing super good. This is really good. Inside line. Have to tap. Don't tap left too much. Do not tap left too much. Okay, this is good. Into the uphill. We have Spam in the lead by a second. Although we are crashing. It's fine. At least it's not full stop, right?
This is actually a good strategy, just using the walls to steer for us. Here,
Ooh,
a
this
wall
section
hug.
though.
I think a wall hug could be a good strategy.
Yeah, in the first one, but the second one is actually just a 90-degree turn. So we have to turn.
Oh, we gotta go left. Oh, right.
Left. We gotta go
Right.
left, and then. Oh, this is perfect.
Oh my god, what a
A bit
line!
right.
Oh my
Right.
god, what a line!
No. Oh, yes, that's perfect, chat.
Top
You're
3,
doing
top
great.
3. Alright, now let's remember, there is
Last lap.
there is a turn coming up here. Do not steer too soon. On my count, now. Steer now. If you can hear me, steer now. Keep in mind the delay. Go left.
Left.
Oh no, we are heading for the wall. I believe in you.
Oh no, we're crashing into worker here. Oh, but we're actually making it. Just
Good save,
PF.
good
That's
save, good save.
perfect.
Uh-oh.
One tap right. Oh,
Okay.
that's
Decent.
good.
Are
Okay.
we overtaking top 2 here? Spam is stuck. We have a chance at winning.
Ooh.
We have a real good
This is good
chance.
chance. Passing Muda.
Top 2.
Oh,
Slight
Spam has
left.
a little bit trouble.
Slight
left.
Oh no.
Oh, that's not good. Chat. Reverse. A little bit reverse. And then go left. Left. Oh no, we're doing the Spam strat.
Not much of a strat by the looks of it.
Left. Wait. Oh, this is impossible. Yeah.
Okay.
Better respawn, I think. Just
Good respawn.
go for the inside
Keep
line.
left now. Keep left.
Keep left. RL also hugging the wall. 19 seconds. We just have to reach this CP.
Oh.
Spam is stuck. Worker. It's getting first place. We're passing Spam. That dude.
We
That's
got
pretty good.
second.
Second place. That's good.
Applause
Hey,
to the chatters.
Applause to you guys.
Very
Let's
well
go.
done.
We did it.
Second place, not too bad for 8,000 people working together, coordinating. Well, let's go.
I don't want to be BM here, but that is Tween's highest placement in Tmgl so
Oh
far.
god, Eirik.
He only has one 8th place, and then the rest is outside the top 8. So maybe now it's time for Tween. Maybe now we've given him some confidence. We have thought in the lines. Now it's time for Tween.
Alright, let's see if Pole Party will be the map where we can make it happen. This time, the preview is for real. What can you tell us about Pool Party?
Pole
Colbert.
Party by Hees, though. A map where Papu has a world record of 7:43:39. It's a very tech-heavy map with an identity which is kind of blind precision between poles. You will see it coming up very soon on screen, where you have to weave back and forth between poles. This is basically muscle memory. I was watching some players practice this map, and their first playthroughs were, yeah, let's say Yep pole-ish.
Yeah, they were not at all consistent at this, but now, after 2 weeks of practice, and even more than that in the 2-lap format, I mean, they have it nailed down. They know the movement. It's like in their hands, sort of like a musician who just has to play their instrument as they know it, but it's very hard to do extremely perfectly with the finest precision when it matters in a step like this. Want to quickly go through the times here. World record by Papu, 7:43:39. And then Mudda is the second best player here with a 7:44:06. Last week's winning time by Pack was 7:44.3, so less than a second behind the world record in a live match. It's an absolutely incredible time by Pack, and Offie and Carl Jr. were able to match that. So those are the players we're looking out for here. Pack, Offie, Carl Jr., Papu, and Mudda, your pre-favorites. But knowing the steps here, anything can really happen. So let's just see how it goes.
Been going for a different start here.
I think he's just not fancying the risky jump, as he's had some problems with the consistency.
Yeah, it looks like it's about a little bit slower maybe.
Yeah.
But something interesting about this map that is correlating to the first map is that Mudda is on the top 3 on the record list, but he is has not gotten a top 3 in the steps. So just like Barrelistic, maybe Mudda is the guy to look out for here, as he has the pace on paper.
Yeah, Mudda was also one of the favorites we saw when it was a 2-lap map, but this is an entirely different dynamic. The players are not going to risk as much as they used to, but they're still going to look for decent lines, you know, just a little bit more comfortable than this all or nothing 2-lap format. But Offie, he was so solid here when it was 2 laps. He was so solid in 6 laps. This is a map that really suits the Swiss player, and he's showing it here again, being able to match Gwen and Carl Jr. in the first lap. But let's see the pulls at the end of the lap. Oh my god, someone makes contact and is out of the race.
It was Gwen, made a mistake. He's gonna drop down to 15th place.
Oh, and Bren clips as well. Bren is out of the race for now with that respawn. Papu had a mistake earlier, so 3 players with big mistakes so far.
Massa in the lead. It's a very tech-heavy map, so to be expected. Followed by Carl Jr. Binks. As we entered the pole section here. This one not as hard as the other one, but still something could still happen in that one, of course. It's very close in the lead here right now.
One thing we usually see here is Offie in that dirt part. He's able to generate so much more speed than the others, but here he is just pixels away from a full crash with the wall. Did not get the airtime he wanted on that jump. Good save regardless though, to put himself only within a 0.3 of a second of the leader right now, being Pack, who Eirik said would get the 400-point step. He did get top 8 on the first 2 maps, but Massa,
we have a
big mistake. Binks, big mistake as well.
Binks, big mistake as well, yeah.
Both will drop out of the top 8.
third lap here. Pack is in the lead by 0.1 to Carl Jr. 2 players in the top. We see a little bit of a gap towards Afi as well. Afi, who was super consistent on this map, if I remember correctly, in the last step.
Yeah, Afi for sure, one of the best, and his best part of the map is arguably the dirt, as you'll see coming up after this turn here, where he's able to get a lot more speed. Just very, very refined with his line here. So let's see how he holds up against Carl Jr., sets it up wider, and has more exit speed. Usually, you can see here, just getting a little bit closer. This is one of his best segments, and this translates through the entire full speed part here before the next drift. But the pace from Pack cannot be understated. He is driving just around the winning pace last week, which is again just within a second of the world record. So Pack looking really good right now, halfway through pole party.
As we enter the identity, we have Pack in the lead. Carl Jr. Looks like everybody so far is clean. We have
Carl with a mistake.
Oh, we have Aurel with a huge mistake. Double respawn from Aurel. It's gonna drop down. Carl Jr. with a mistake as well.
Yeah, Carl Jr. was just not ready there for the low speed after his crash, and goes straight down into 15th place.
Ooh. Both Aurel and Carl Jr.
Oh, Kappa, no! Kappa, that was painful to watch. He had to adapt, or else he was going into the pole. But the alternative was straight into the hole, and that's a big respawn. Actually, a pretty rough race right now. Many mistakes happening, and huge opportunity for players like Tween, who have not been driving too fast, but 0 mistakes, 0 respawns, and he is now in the top 8 for it. Afi with low speed.
We see Afi with low speed in the full speed part. He gets caught up by Spam and Tween. But Pack with a substantial lead right now, 1 second.
Absolutely crazy pace by Pack in first. Grenadi, Scrappy, and Muda very close though. And again,
very close together.
This is one thing we've noticed about Scrappy in the past too. Scrappy, when he is driving really well, is one of the world's best players, no doubt. But when Scrappy starts making mistakes, it usually ends up in more mistakes. He's a very flow-based player, so when he has good momentum, he can translate that into more and more good performances. And right now, Scrappy's gotten off to a good start to the step, and he's looking to repeat that here on pole party. And this could be a huge day for Scrappy in the Grand League, because finally it looks like he's found his rhythm here, up in third now again on pole party, which is 2 laps to go.
I asked Scrappy what his tactics was before this. That he said simple, it's top 8 on pool party, and then I'm gonna go for the multiplier. And so far, that tactic seems to at least go as planned. So let's see if he can get the multiplier as well.
Yeah, definitely. Like even top 3 here, and he was also able to get that previous top 8 performance to get 22 points going into this. I'm sure Scrappy right now, seeing that 3 on his car, feeling super happy, and we'll just try to save from here. Big gaps behind. As we see Pack now about to enter the last lap, but there's also a big fight between Massa and Binks for that top 8. Let's follow if the top players make it through here. No mistakes up there. Binks with good speed will overtake Afi, and it's now Afi versus Massa in the last lap for 8th place.
Yeah, Afi versus Massa here, only 0.06 difference. Let's see who's gonna get that extra 10 points. Pack still with a lead, actually extending 1.3 seconds now. Absolutely pacing here.
And I don't want to say anything, but I think he is actually close to world record pace right now, Pack, because the others are really fast here and they are not able to follow. He is cooking up something incredible here, Pack, as Eirik predicted. Let's see if he can hold it through the last turns. This is either 7:44 or lower, but what the final time will be, time will tell.
The gap between Massa and Afi has extended though. Afi with a small mistake. Massa is safe right now in the green points. Pack still in the lead, going for that world record time by the looks of it.
Final
see as we
part.
entered the final
Will
and
Pack
identity.
get the time here? This is looking so fast. A 7:43.81, half a second away from the world record. The other 8 players in the top 8 will survive the final identity, and they will take the big points. Uffy here, who we were looking at, gets 9th place, and there are some more mistakes by the sounds of it.
Gwen with a small mistake. Kappa and Aurel are gonna overtake.
And Carl Jr. in a surprising 16th place here on Pole Party.
But we cannot understate. We spoke about Grenadier before the sort of clash time. Again, he's 2nd place. I mean, it's somewhat ridiculous that he's so good already. I mean, it's his 3rd step overall. So Grenadier has been nominated for Most Improved Player of the Year in 2019, 2020, and I mean, can he not win it in 2021? Looking at this.
And very interesting, on the storyline of Grenadier, we are going on to Vertigo, which is a map that he said he wanted to be his next Barrelistic. Barrelistic was Grenadier's favorite map, and he said that this one might be his next one, because this is going to be in rotation for the next 3 steps as a 6-lapper as well. And it's one of the most difficult maps to drive consistently because of these pipes that you can see in the preview here. Getting across these pipes without failure is ridiculously difficult 6 times in a row. In the Challenger division of Grand League, no one was able to do this without a single respawn. But we know Grenadier to be good here, we know to be a good map for Mutta, and especially also Massa are the 3 players with the best pace here.
Yeah, last week we saw who was it? Was it Scrappy getting the 5x multiplier because of almost everybody crashed in the last round, right?
Yeah.
On this, they were trying to pace so much. But this is like the most menacing map ever.
Oh,
like trying
it's
to
so
keep
painful.
pace and consistency on this one is basically impossible, as we saw on the Challenger series. What was it? 14 seconds off world record on the 1st place.
Yeah, and there's this principle, right, where you wanna, of course, not make mistakes, and you can think like, why don't the players just slow down and avoid failing? Well, think about it. Let's say you drive on average 1 or 2 seconds slower per lap. That is 12 seconds through a course of a 6-lap race, and at that point, you might as well try to drive a little bit faster and risk making a mistake. But you're walking this very fine line between failure and success, and it's just hard to keep the pace all the way with no mistakes.
We see Scrappy actually avoiding the penalty grass there in the warm-up. I'm not sure if he's gonna do that in the match. That's something he did the 1st lap of the last week, but he didn't continue doing it. Maybe he has found something that we don't know about quite.
Yeah, Scrappy did not fancy it in the live rounds. It is a risky line, and it only saves 0.1 or 0.2 of a second, which across this map is not a lot for sure. So might not fancy it.
As we see, full sending it through these pipes is almost impossible, especially in a 6-lap setting. I don't think we're gonna see anyone doing that consistently.
Let's make a prediction here, guys. How many players do you see surviving all 6 laps without a respawn? How many? Because I'm guessing it's less than 8.
We saw 0 people surviving in the Challenger series. I'm gonna say 4 people.
Eirik?
I'm gonna be positive 10.
10, alright.
Oof, 10!
I guess we can all hope for that, but well, you'll see just how difficult this is, that even the world elite here will take this for a spin, and I'm predicting chaos, but let's not take the sorrows in advance. Let's see what will unfold on the track as we're going across the first pipe now.
Oh, workers with a small mistake there. On the
Alright.
pipe, actually. The straight pipe even.
But here's the first really scary pipe, and we're going on to it. And will we lose anyone? The
We're gonna
first
see
12
no
players
face.
have made it. Actually, the first 15. Very impressive there that they all made it across. It's a close battle. Muss up in first, one of the fastest players on pace. But let's see now on the curve. Everyone stays alive. And then the ending, the reactor booster pipe. Will it claim any victims this lap? No, it looks good. Oh, Spam with a small clip though. Has to take the safe route here, I think. Going for a wider jump to stay alive. So only a very small mistake to start off the first lap.
Everyone going for the penalty strat here. I think the dodging is a little bit too risky for the 6-lapper. Gotta drive on the pipes and everything. Gotta save up a little bit. Massa in the lead, working with a huge mistake. He's fallen behind by 10 seconds. As we enter the first curved pipe here. Are we gonna see anyone falling off? Looks like most people are safe.
This is so wildly impressive.
Binks, though, falling behind.
Some mistakes, but most are surviving.
Let's see. The last identity here. This is the wildest pipe by far. The reactor. Looks like people have it under the... Oh, but we have a respawn by Pack, actually.
Oh, yeah. 5 seconds behind.
Into 14th place. But he has 63 points.
A good step for Pack already. You know, starts off this one a bit weak, but one respawn, as we saw in Challenger, might not be the end of this race for sure. But it looks like players have found a comfortable pace. They're driving about 1 or even 2 seconds slower in the first 2 laps than the 2-lap winning times. Oh no, Bren! Off the pipe he goes. And another one has fallen.
Kappa as well. And Carl Jr. has dropped to 14th place. We see a lot of people on 4 seconds behind the lead right now. Most likely they had 1 respawn on the pipes. Massa going strong though, in first, followed by Papu and Gwen. And Scrappy having an insane step right now with 42 points and in 4th place.
But you can really feel the tension though. Like the players are trying to restrain themselves so hard from risking on these pipes. They don't want to go too fast, but at the same time, they want to make sure that they're keeping up with the competition. Right now, nobody's made a mistake. And as we go into the last laps here, we might start some players going fancy. Oh no, Gwen! No, off the pipe he goes. And that's a big respawn from the 3rd place player. How much will it cost him? He drops down to 8th at least. Spam very close to challenge that spot. It is Massa and Papu, the 2 fastest players in the Grand League on paper on this map, in the top 2 spots right now. And Scrappy, who just yesterday said he was not able to drive 6 laps consistently here. He could not get 6 laps without a mistake in practice up until yesterday. Now he has 5 done with 2 more to go, sorry. And Papu made a mistake to drop him down.
Papu landing a little bit sideways, catches some penalty there. But he is on pace with Muda and Scrappy still. Wasn't too huge, gets a clip there. Oh, that was close. I almost expected him to flip on the landing, but he is safe. Massa with a 2-second lead in the 5th lap as we enter the curved pipe section.
And I think we've seen a massive comeback here from both Muda and Grenadi, who have managed to climb back up. Oh, Scrappy, bit shaky there.
Scrappy.
Who makes it across flawless. As the top 8 remain, the same 8 players. None of them make a mistake. Papu, though, with great speed, will overtake 2nd place, but Massa's almost out of the field of view. He's 3 seconds ahead. Has really found his comfort on this map. But then again, oh no, Grenadi. I was about to say, he's doing so well, but that's a big respawn at the end of the reactor boost pipe. And Grenadi dropping way out of the top 8 now.
Grenadi, the current leader of the step with 69 points, falls down to 13th. We still have Massa in the top. He is super consistent. He currently has the world record by 6:12.722. I'm not sure if he's on pace with that time right here. I think he can save it up in the last lap.
The crazy thing is he's not saving. He's driving so risky. Must have sort of have just one mode, and it's go mode. It's all or nothing. He finds comfort in driving this pace, and when he tries to save, it actually is harder for him than just keeping this high pace all the way. So great race by Massa. I expect him to hold it on the last pipe. One more uphill will do it, and Massa will take 27 well-deserved points here with a 6:16.
Papu! With a small sideways landing, but Scrappy doesn't quite get it. He's gonna get the 22-pointer there, or by Scrappy with the 20.
Close battle here between Kappa and Pack. Pack will secure that one. And then looks like Worker here will not be able to finish, as he's over 30 seconds behind.
A DNF from Worker indeed. So about the prediction, how many people fell off?
Looks like, I think, 8, just about.
So pretty good actually.
Pretty good, very solid, and a great winning time by Massa. He will deservedly take the first spot as we go on to a very exciting map here, that of Poolside, built by Kaisla. Take us through this one, Karlberg.
Poolside by Kaisla, a very transitional techie map with some pool sections, built by Waypoint member or manager Kaisla. We see dipping through waters, the identity here, or before the identity rather, we have like a no slide turn, but we've seen some interesting strategies here. Most people are actually hiding their records or training offline, so we might see some interesting strategies in the identity.
Yeah, so this is something we talked about earlier today, where a lot of the top players do not have any public personal best on this map. That usually means one of two things. Either they're just hiding it, or they're hiding something. Strategies, things like lines that they found, that they're now going to reveal. We saw some player in the Challenger League go for this triangle, and Pack will indeed do that. Looks like some others like Carl Jr. might have that in their repertoire as well. And then in the ending, we saw a wide setup for that last part, where we can maybe see a water bounce.
We have a water bounce by Pack and Scrappy right there.
Water bounce strategy to try to gain some time.
Okay.
And then this wide setup. Looks like Arrel does it. Worker does it.
Scrappy goes for the nail slide as well. Oh, Scrappy with 2 strategies.
This is gonna get very interesting. So yeah, our prediction was correct. They were indeed hiding some lines. Now let's see how they will use them. Will they wait for the high multipliers, or will they go for the 2x? If you don't know how this format works, basically there's 8 rounds that are going to be played. And whatever points you have right now, you get a chance to multiply them. In the first 4 rounds, you could double your points. So if we take the case of Scrappy, he could end up with 124 points here if he wins this round. However, if he waits until the last 4 rounds, he could triple, he could quadruple, or even 5 times quintuple, I believe it's called, his points. So how long do you dare to wait here? Do you go early, or do you wait for the last rounds? Massa, instant DNF. He does not want a 2x today.
Muda with a late start as well.
Go ahead. But I was just talking about Massa because I asked him about this tactic. He said map 5 is going to be play or pray, but I might retire the 2x. So it looks like he is going for that juicy 78 points. That is the second highest amount of points anybody has had after 4 maps. So Massa can maybe secure himself a playoff spot here already, but not in this round.
Not in this round for sure, and different lines here. Oh, Scrappy with a wide setup. Look how much this gains. Scrappy has the lead into, oh, well, I was about to say the second lap. Not quite. It will be Pack ahead of Uffy, followed by Spam. As we now go into the second lap, we saw some players set up wide here into this first turn to get a little more speed. Spam clipping the corner, and that will not be it for him. Spam has been very desperate to try to get a multiplier. None so far. Same for Pack, not a single multiplier yet in the Grand League. They, I think, would be happy with just a 2x today. But
So in the first round already, we can see we almost have 3 guaranteed players not going for the 2x. We have Massa, Scrappy, and Muda by the looks of it.
Oh, Pack touches. Offie has a grip on this. There's no one close. It's a 0.7 gap down to anyone else. But we know there's different lines here. Look at this outside line from Pack. Followed by the water-bound setup here to temporarily gain back that second place. Oh, sliding here though. Tween is up there. If Offie makes a mistake, this is so close. Wide setup from Pack, and Offie has been overtaken by Carl Jr. It is the 3-4-time world champion in the lead, followed by Grenadi and Offie. Very close fight here. Who is going to take it last turn? Offie goes tight. Carl Jr. with the speed, and Carl Jr. will win with a 2:19.87, about 0.7 of a second behind the world record. But Carl Jr. doubles here.
Carl Jr. with the 2x. We saw him in the first step also going for the 2x. I think he feels quite comfortable with his big gain in leads with the points in like the first maps, and then going for the 2x rather than risking it for the biscuit in with the 3x, 4x, 5x.
Yeah, and we actually see Massa driving here. So one thing I've been thinking about the DNF strategy, you might as well just play the rounds. Like, sure, you're not going to win it if you want a higher multiplier, but this type of warm-up that you get out of just driving these rounds, and perhaps even a confidence boost if you're able to get first place and then you retire. Maybe that's a good confidence to have going into the last round where you will try to win the round.
I have a sort of theory about why Massa retired the first round. Maybe he is then spectating all the other players to see, okay, Pack is doing the water balance, so he's checking, some players have a juicy tactic that I need to take into account.
Scouting the other players, a good strategy maybe. And he will also get a very good pinpoint, I think, to see what type of pace he needs to do. If he has the best lines, how fast does he really realistically need to go? 2:19.8 was the winning time, and we saw players in Challenger get 2:19.10 earlier, so they are not driving the fastest pace, but this is probably Massa trolling here, I think. Not actually a line that he's been working on. That would be crazy if he makes it work. It's Papu now in the lead into the second lap.
We saw Pack and Spam make a mistake in the identity. They're not getting this round, that's for sure. Papu in the lead right now, followed by Afi. Let's see if they're taking the triangle strategy. It looks like some people have found it. Not quite everyone.
Now the wide dirt line, we see none of them going for it. Only Pack, I think we've seen doing that. And the water bounce, only Pack and Scrappy. Muda clipping. He's out of it. Offie hitting the wall. Papu has this under lock and key right now. 0.7 of a lead. Just needs to get the triangle and the water churns. But Grenadi is so close here to another fantastic step. One position away. Gets a bit of airtime in the water. And that will cost him. Papu, stay strong. 2:19.09. A new public world record by Papu. And that really sets the bar for the others here. Papu showing up huge with a double scoreline today.
Yeah, we saw Mime with a 2:19.10 in the Challenger series, setting a new record, and now we see it again. Insane pace by these players right now. Looks like most of them have been practicing offline after all.
Of course they have. We're talking about the highest level here. Everyone's ready. It's such a joy to watch. Close rounds, and especially a tactics game like this one. I think one of the most tactic heavy final rounds we've seen, as so many different strategies come out, such as you said, this turn here. Some players go wide like Offie there to build up a lot of speed before this dirt jump, and he will overtake first with that line. But then you have players like Pack who are now going to use the triangle in the checkpoint to set up better for this grass turn, and with that gain a little bit more speed into the dirt. And these strategies, they go back and forth, but we see Pack here, good preparation with this water bounce. If he can land it, should net him the first place, but no. Pack with a crash, almost managed to save it, but not quite. Offie in the lead, followed by Scrappy, and about 7 other players are still in the fight here. In the ending of the second lap, Scrappy up into first with that wide setup, but we saw Mime do so well. Now the wide set for speed here. And it will be Offie ahead of Scrappy, ahead of Spam. into lap 2 here, but the pace is once again extremely fast, Karlberg.
It's neck and neck between these 4 players right here. Scrappy, Affy, Spam, and Granady. Could be anyone's race. We see a lot of different strategies, as you said, in this dirt turn right there. We see Scrappy with a huge mistake. He's gonna go out. It's not gonna be his round. Spam, Granady, and Affy left for this 2x multiplier. As we enter the grass section, only Spam going for the triangle strategy.
And Spam is pushing here. He has not gotten a multiplier so far. Oh. And he was about to get his first one perhaps, but now Affy versus Granady to decide this one. Granady would happily take the 2x. I think Affy would as well. Granady with more speed with that no slide line, but they're side by side before the last jump in the triangle. Granady with more speed. Who's going to get the wide setup for the speed in the water? Affy slides out. Granady has a big lead into the last 2 turns here. Granady in his rookie season for his 3rd multiplier. Granady will take it, and he is showing he belongs in the Grand League. He's one of the best. Granady once again over 140 points here, really consistently showing up at the highest level.
Granady with 144 points.
It's shown that his performance is not a fluke, that everybody can, or not everybody, but at this level you can do a good step, but he has now done 3 good steps, so I'm curious to see how far he can go in the 5 next steps. So really solid performance for Granady.
And what a storyline it is. Granady, if you don't know, he started playing Trackmania United. It is different cars than the stadium car you see here, just driving with a wheel, and then just a few years ago he started picking up Stadium, the car you're seeing played now, and tried to learn that, to become good at that with the steering wheel of all the input devices. Everyone else plays keyboard or controller. And in just 3 years' time, he's gone from just learning the environment to now being among the world's best consistently, as you said, and not just fluking it. And he can now relax after a great step 3 here before we see the final 2-time multiplier round. And we'll see who can secure that one. Pack gets his waterbound strategy this time. No mistake, but it is Tween up into 1st place here. And Tween, as you said, on for his best step. Can Tween make this one happen now?
Affy makes a little... clips a little bit, falls behind. It's gonna be between Tween, Bren, Spam, Affy, and Aurel here. It's neck and neck between these 3 players, only 0.1 difference. Spam probably going for that last 2x. As we have 3x next rounds, and Tween makes a huge mistake, bonks into the wall. That makes 1 less player for Spam to worry about.
Spam with another huge opportunity here. The last one slipped out of his hands, this time through the triangle with more speed than Bren, with a 0.2 lead. Can Spam secure his 1st multiplier of the season? He's down in the bottom 8. He needs this more than ever before it slips out of his hands. Onto the water edge, down through the pool. Bren releases for more speed, and Bren is catching, but Spam holds strong. Now the left side approach to get no airtime through the triangle. Spam clips a little bit. Bren will get closer. Bren is making Spam have to work for this one. It's only a car length. Bren goes very tight, and he overtakes 1st place. Will Bren snipe it in the ending? Bren takes it away from Spam on the final straight, and heartbreak for Spam as Bren secures a 2-time multiplier. Spam getting so close for the 2nd time, but not quite. It is a ruthless format, and 2nd place here is just the same as getting last. You need to win. You need to get 1st. And Spam has to go back to the drawing board now in the final 4 rounds.
Spam with a lead until the last section. Might go for the 3x here though. As we enter the 3x multiplier, 4 spots left for the multiplier spots. If you don't get a victory in these last 4 rounds, you will not get a multiplier at all, leaving you with the points that you have currently.
And I feel like this is the first time we see Massa, right? Like, oh, wow. Massa has been biding his time in the 2x, and now in the 3x we start to see him, but he makes a mistake. He pushes a bit too much. He's still got 3 more chances after this. And we also see Scrappy now with a huge opportunity Only about 120 points so far overall in the league. If he triples here, that's another 180 points added to his total. Huge opportunity as he is in first, and he has a better setup here. He extends his lead to the others, but we've seen him slide off, and he does so again, and the gap shrinks down to more than nothing. He's now down in fourth, still with an opportunity though. But Spam's on for his third chance, and I have been corrected. Spam did get a multiplier in the first step, but this is a big opportunity to get a 3x and try to climb back into top 8.
Yeah, we see second lap here, last lap in this round. Spam once again battling for the top position together with Binks and Tween this time. Spam has the triangle approach, which the other players also do. It's only 0.04 between them. Spam with a little bit of a different approach here, goes for the slide, and the other Binks and Tween going for the no slide strategy. As we enter the identity here, we have Binks versus Spam. Spam slides out, it's gonna be Binks, unless he makes a mistake. Binks takes the 3x multiplier.
Oh, and that's a huge relief for Binks. Huge points as well, 120 with a great winning time. Binks has not had a great start to the Grand League season, but that will do well for him. 120 points out of this one, and he can feel very happy to secure a huge multiplier here. 3 more multipliers left, 11 players to fight for them. 8 will walk home empty-handed with nothing at all, and there are huge point scorelines to be multiplied. Musa 78 points, Mutta 61, Scrappy 62, and Pack with 65. If any of these players gets this multiplier, they could get very close to a playoff spot. Remains to see if they can clutch it out when it matters right now in these last couple of rounds. Taking a look at Musa here, who we saw crash last time. 3 chances left. He waited out the 2x for this moment, but will he be able to do it as he's trailing Pack, the current leader, by 0.3 of a second here in the first lap.
Pack and Scrappy with the water bounce. It's gonna pay off for Scrappy as he's in the lead right now. It's a super close race here between the rest of people. 6 people within 0.3 of each other. As we enter the second lap, Scrappy is in the lead. It would be huge for him to get a 3x multiplier. Looks to be consistent on this map with his new strategies.
And Aurel here, if Aurel should win this, he would overtake first place in the Grand League again, that currently Offie holds. Just 5 points ahead in the standings, but Aurel makes small contact with the wall there. And it is now the 2 players with some of the most points here, Musa and Scrappy, way ahead of Worker in third. Will be a battle between Scrappy and Musa here. You have to imagine, but Musa double clips, and Scrappy has a golden opportunity to triple. Oh my god, could this be the moment for Scrappy? Over 180 points if he can hold this lead with the water bounce. A risky approach for sure. Worker going for the more safe no slide line here. But Scrappy will just hold that lead, gain about a 10th. And now with the inside approach from both, will he hold it? Wide setup for the first water. Worker going wide as well. They're about the same distance, but Scrappy straight into the pole. He makes a mistake in the second last turn, and Worker will get this 3x with a 2:19.71. Worker, not the greatest step, but he triples here to paint a prettier picture for himself. And also, I believe, his biggest step in Grand League so far.
Yeah, that is his first multiplier, and he was 15th overall, so at least something, still 50 points, but at least something, no?
Definitely.
No, 75, sorry.
Oh, 2 rounds to go here as the tension builds. Karlberg, take us through first lap here of round 4.
As we enter the 4x multiplier, only 2 spots left, as Virgil said. We saw Scrappy bonking the last corner in the last round for the 3x. That would have been huge for him. We see him in the top right now. Tween with a mistake, absolutely crashing. He's not gonna get to 4x. has to opt for the 5. We see Spam, Afi, and Muramasa in the lead right now. Spam has been really consistent on this map, but has been unfortunate not getting a multiplier so far. Maybe this is his round.
Yeah, maybe it is moment for Spam, or maybe Afi here. As we said, there's an ongoing battle for first place in the league. Only 9 points separate Afi and Aurel in the overall standings, and Afi has a great shot at the 4-time multiplier in this one. Wide setup there for the jump, but he makes it through. Now the first water section. You want to carry as much speed as possible, but how much do you dare to risk? Spam slides out and only has 1 chance left, the 5-time multiplier round. And a name we have not seen too much of here, Mudda, joins the fight when it matters. Mudda's one of the players who's gotten the most multipliers so far, a 3x and a 4x. Can he get another 4x here to clutch in the most decisive rounds versus Scrappy and Afi in the top 3 fight here? He goes for a better dirt line, a sharper approach, but Afi will exit with more speed, and the differences remain. Afi still with a 0.2 advantage, goes very wide. Afi has to save his approach there to not hit the wall. Still a decent lead for Afi. Scrappy and Mudda very close though, and Karlberg, anything can happen here in these final corners.
We have Afi, Mudda, and Scrappy, and Aurel in the top 4 here. It's super close as we see a mistake from Mudda here. Afi in the lead together with Scrappy. Aurel with 0.2 behind Afi. Scrappy with a different approach is gonna exit with more speed. It's neck and neck until the last turn. Scrappy gets a little bit of slide.
Oh my god.
7 millisecond gap. Scrappy gets the 4x multiplier.
By less,
that is huge for Scrappy.
By less than 100, then Scrappy gets the 4x. That's over 240 points total. I think Scrappy can be very happy. He got the 5x last week. Now he gets the 4x. And that's just how close it can be. Less than 100th. Afi has to feel absolutely robbed here. But Scrappy with just a tiny speed advantage out of the last water makes that work. And now the 5x round here. Who's going to take it? The last multiplier available. Pack still empty-handed. No multiplier. Same for Masa. Same for Mudda. Huge scores. And Spam and Afi, who have been consistently fast here, have not been successful yet. Who will take this final one? Let's find out.
Yeah, the guy to look out for here is definitely Mudda, who DNF'd the first rounds to get a higher multiplier. So was it worth the greed? Pack going for that outside line, setting up for the pool bounce here. Is gonna get it quite good. We have some different approaches here. Enter the identity. Nobody going for the Neo Slide Scrappy strat, if you can call it that. Super close race here as we enter lap 2.
Oh, and we see such a close fight, as you said. Great pace as well. Pack versus Afi up there. But
Mudda makes a mistake.
Mudda falls out of the fight. He might not be getting this one. But it's such a close race between top 5, even top 6, counting Aurel, counting Kappa. This is not over yet. But we see the trend we've been seeing. Afi, Spam, and Pack are the fastest on paper here. Masa just barely avoiding the bounce there to stay alive in the fight. But Afi, with the speed from that outside dirt approach, will jump up into first in the final round here versus Pack and Spam. But we know Pack has this wide dirt approach. If he can make it work in the final round, Pack still without a multiplier overall. Could he get the 5x now to redeem himself? Has had a rough start to the season. Now as good a time as any to make it work. He goes for the safe approach, changes his approach in the last round here. Afi will try to overtake first, but he goes too close. He makes a mistake, and it's Pack versus Spam versus Masa in the last identity now. All 3 going down into the water side by side. Pack still in the lead, but Spam will make a fight for it in the last turn here. Who has the most speed? It is Masa, but Spam is trying.
Masa
my god.
Gets the 5x multiplier with 78 points. Masa with a 2:19.41. The world record being 2:19.05.
The 5x4 Massa, who had 78 points going into the last map. He waited the first maps, he retired, and he gets the hugest paycheck we've seen since Arel's original 400-point scoreline. What a step from Massa to put him now second in the Grand League. It is currently Grenadi leading ahead of Massa and Uffy. And oh my god, the drama span 0.002 of a second away. You have to feel from there. But what a fight by all the players. What a show. What a match there.
What a match indeed. Massa getting that huge paycheck there on 496 total.